I'm going to call this meeting of the Oskaloosa City Council to order. Today is Monday, December 2nd, 2019. We start with the invocation by Molly Goodrich, First Christian Church.
Let us pray. Good and gracious God, tonight we gather to focus our minds around this community of Oskaloosa. Thank you for the men and women who have given their time and talents to be at this meeting to discuss and lead and listen and serve. May frustrations turn to creative solutions. May new beginnings and endings be met with mercy and grace. May hurt feelings and difficult communication turn into curiosity and learning. May laughter and giggles come from joy and thanksgiving. May our eyes see you and our ears hear you in everyone that speaks this night. May the progress be wide-reaching, encompassing all your children here in Oskaloosa. And may the peace of Christ be with us all. Amen.
Amen.
Thank
you.
That sounds good.
Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Burnett?
Here.
Caligari?
Here.
Dross?
Here.
Moore?
Here.
Addison?
Here.
Walling?
Here.
Yates?
Okay. Thank you. Next item up is the opportunity for community comments. This item is reserved to receive comments from the community for concerns whether or not they're included on the current agenda. The community is encouraged to come and speak before the mayor and city council. Asked to keep statements brief, time limited to no more than 3 minutes. Any questions should be asked to the city staff, council members, or the mayor prior to speaking to the full council. So that way concerns can be properly researched and perhaps answered away from the meeting. Comments are to be directed to the mayor and city council only. Is there anyone who would like to speak at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Next item on our agenda, I've got a number of plaques and certificates here, and so we're going to be directing our attention that way. First thing I would like to do is have us think a little bit about Senior Officer Nathan Johnson. He joined the Oskaloosa Police Department on January 22nd of 2019. Growing up in Oskaloosa, graduated from Oskaloosa High School in 2006. After high school, he attended Indian Hills Community College Criminal Justice Program and graduated in 2008. Officer Johnson was hired in Bluefield and spent 10 years as a police officer there before coming home to Oskaloosa. In the past year, Officer Johnson became integrally involved in the department's activities, and due to his training and experience, was named senior officer during his first year in the department. Officer Johnson is currently acting as field training officer as well as senior officer, enjoys the fact that no 2 days are the same in his current job, and he's enjoying the camaraderie with the Oskaloosa Police Department. And Officer Johnson loves to fish, travel, and spend time with family. And why are we talking about this? Officer Nathan Johnson has been chosen as the 2019 Officer of the Year for the Oskaloosa Police Department, and we congratulate him for this and encourage him to keep striving for excellence in everything he does. Officer Johnson, please come forward. In living color, Officer of the Year, Senior Officer Nathan Johnson, 2019.
Thank you.
Next up, could I get Officer Gary Kuchar? Recognition for Gary Kuchar completing 30 years of service on behalf of the City of Oskaloosa Police Department. Gary, Officer John Plum.
He was supposed to be here, but he went on early today.
We'll say he's on duty. Gary McClung. That's not on duty. Okay. for 10 years of experience working for the Oskaloosa Fire Department. Thank you very much. Daniel Hoy.
He couldn't make it today.
Okay, he's on duty. Nancy Hall. Nancy Hall has 10 years working for the Oskaloosa Library. Looking for a Keelish pal.
He's stuck in Abu Dhabi. Legitimate.
Okay. Okay. And finally, Michael Schrock, 10 years of service for the city of Oskaloosa.
Seems like yesterday that you started. Everybody leaves.
Was that really Adam?
Huh?
Because I was doing that machine.
I didn't get stuck on my travels.
I don't know Adam, I know
I'm
him.
back in time.
Yeah. So I want to say thank you to, to the city administration who draws our attention to the longevity of the people that are doing work for the city of Oskaloosa. And as they hit these milestones, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, it's fitting that it comes after Thanksgiving that we do this recognition. We remember the amount of institutional knowledge that they carry around with them and the opportunity that that provides for preventing mistakes, leadership, teaching the folks that are younger on staff than they are the way to do things right. And through that, they have the effect then of making a safer environment, which we've all experienced through our insurance rates, and then also just the knowledge of doing things right.
I should do it all over.
Sorry.
Yep, no, that's good. So anyway, I guess I just, as I've had the opportunity to serve as mayor these last 10 years, I've gained more and more appreciation for the effect that staff has on the culture of the city itself. What the citizens expect of the city workers as well is because we have a certain degree of excellence that we hold ourselves to. And so for that reason, they expect good things to happen, and we deliver. So I show a great deal of appreciation to everyone. They've all left now, so nobody can hear this. And with the sound system, with the microphone off, the heck with it. So, but anyway, we are deeply thankful. So,
Mayor, if I could, I'd just like to echo what you said. When you have 30, 25, and 20 years, not to take away from any of the others, but that is great for the town of Oskaloosa to have that expertise and the sticking power.
you bet. Yeah, I don't know if anybody ran the numbers on that grid there, but it adds up to 125 years of experience in just those few names. So, thank you. Moving on, consent agenda. These are items considered to be routine by the city council. They are enacted by one motion. There wasn't anything I felt the need to call out. Do we have a motion to support the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Coniston?
Yes.
Walling?
Yes.
Burnett?
Yes.
Calgery?
Yes.
Dross?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Next into the regular agenda, first off is the announcement of vacancies we have on various boards and commissions. There's a listing of 10 of them here. The Airport Commission is first with one vacancy for a 6-year term beginning on January 1st of 2020 and vacancy for a term ending on December 31 of 2021. The Board of Adjustment has 2 vacancies for a 5-year term beginning January 1 of 2020 and a vacancy for a term ending on December 31st of 2020. The Building Code Board of Appeals, there's 1 vacancy for an ex officio member. The Historic Preservation Commission, there's 3 vacancies for 3-year terms that begin January 1st of 2020, and 1 vacancy for an alternate member for a 3-year term. The Housing Trust Fund Committee, there's a vacancy for a 3-year term beginning on February of 2020, and 1 at-large vacancy for a term ending on January 31st of 2020. The Mahaska County Emergency Management, 1 vacancy, 2-year term that begins on January 1st of 2020. Mahaska County Solid Waste Management Commission, 2 vacancies for 1-year terms that are beginning on January 1 of 2020. Municipal Housing, there's 3 vacancies for 2-year terms beginning on March of 2020, and 1 vacancy for an unexpired term ending on February 28th of 2021 due to the resignation of member Linda Russell. And Planning and Zoning Commission, there's 1 vacancy there. Unexpired term ending on April 2020 due to the resignation of member Linda Russell. And finally, the September Stevens Memorial Animal Shelter, 1 vacancy for a 2-year term beginning on January 1st of 2020. Next item is the quarterly presentation by the Oskaloosa Area Chamber and Development Group. Ann Frost.
Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
Michael, were you able to play the commercial? I think we're gonna start with the commercial. The chamber ended up partnering with KYOU and they became a chamber member. And so we ended up creating a commercial to highlight our Christmas parade, shopping, and coming to Oskaloosa. So this is the ad that has been running. It ran all last week. It will run this week until the parade.
Join us this year as Oskaloosa Main Street presents the 2019 Lighted Christmas Parade Festival. The parade is set for Saturday, December 7th at 7 p.m. in downtown Oskaloosa. Enjoy the parade under the glow of over 250,000 individual lights and the painting of lights display with as many as 60 lighted floats and entries from businesses, clubs, and organizations. This parade is sure to impress. Also, come shop at our historic downtown and check out the whole community for unique gifts for your Christmas list. The festival lasts all weekend, so check it out at oacdg.org.
So I thought that turned out to be a really nice commercial. As many of you know, we've been going through a merge for the last few years, but we finally have it complete. And so the merge voting with the members is done. And we are now working on our articles of incorporation, our new bylaws, our budget. Before each of you is the short version of the plan and what we'll be working on for 2020. And it includes housing, tourism and recreation, workforce and business development in the community. If you would like a more in-depth plan with some background information, some graphs and statistics, I'll be sure to email that to you, or you can swing by the chamber office and pick that up. But those will be our goals for the staff for the next year and for our organization. Part of tourism is, promoting the community and getting people to come here for more than just a day. And so we were really excited that we were able to do that commercial. Also, you have an invite to our open house, which is on December 16th at the chamber. We hope you can pop in there for some appetizers and then visit with the staff. So the last quarter of the year, this is kind of just a recap of what we've accomplished throughout the whole year. Of course, completed the strategic plan. We did hire Rob Taylor Management Services to help us with our plan, and then the staff actually completed the plan. So I would like to say a kudos to our staff because we've worked really hard on meeting with business leaders in the community and getting that organized and put together into something that's doable and actionable, and we can get some metrics off of that. Main Street did host 40 state staff from Missouri this last month, and they were really impressed with our historic district and our downtown, and one of them is even coming back for the Lighted Christmas Parade. He was quite excited about that. Of course, the parade is this Saturday. It's the first time that it's going to be on a Saturday, and we are really excited about that. We hope people come all day to shop and to eat and then to stay for the parade. We created a holiday brochure, which is a picture of that is on the back, And we gave these to all of our different businesses around town. So it's just a list from November all the way to January 1st of all the activities that we have going on in the community, hopefully to inspire people to come back multiple times. Dee and I also partnered with the Pella CVB to create some itineraries for the first 2 weekends in December. Come to Oskaloosa, you might as well go to Pella, and vice versa. So that's been a great partnership. The housing group went over to visit the Newton Correctional Facility, and they learned about some homes for Iowans where the prisoners actually make the homes and cities kind of purchase them, and then they sell them for a lower rate for low-income housing. And if you ever want any of the minutes or information from any of the housing, workforce, tourism, or business development group minutes on what they're talking about, you could just let us know. We'd be more than happy to share those. Diplomats, we've been really busy in the community, welcoming 6 new businesses. Workforce had their 5th annual job fair, and Painting with Lights has raised some extra money, and we've extended the lights on down the street, as you can see. So we've been really busy, and we're ready for 2020. Does anybody have any questions about what we've been up to?
Thanks, Ann. I don't know about you, but I'd like to be on your email.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yep.
And the commercial, excuse me, the commercial you mentioned, what channel is that on, or?
It's KYOU, which is out of Ottumwa.
Oh.
So, tourism can't just be here in Mahaska County. It has to be out of the
Right.
community. And so we partnered with them. They became chamber members, and we kind of did a little bit of a trade.
Very good.
Yeah.
And thank
Thank
you
you
for
very
the
much.
executive summary too.
Yeah, you're
that
welcome.
you gave me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ann.
Yeah, thank you.
Moving on. Next is the resolution approving the design development documents for the Early Childhood Education and Recreation Center project. So you may remember back in April, the City Council approved Resolution 1904-60, getting into a professional service agreement with SVPA Architects for the purpose of designing the Early Childhood Education Recreation Center project. And then on September 16th, the City Council approved 19-07-125, authorizing the approval of the project's schematic design documents. Since that time, they've been working on it. The community representatives from the city, Oskaloosa School District, and YMCA have been working with SVPA in numerous meetings to refine the designs. And so tonight, we have a presentation on that. So, Vitus Bering, President of SVPA, would you take the floor?
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. We're excited to give you an update on how things are going with the design development phase of work. As the mayor mentioned, we've had several meetings with the committee and users and have progressed the design along quite a bit. There is a full set of documents on file here for the city in terms of the plans and specifications, which is far more significant than what I'm going to go over tonight. I'll keep this a fairly high-level review, but I believe Carl has reviewed the entire set.
He did.
And so we appreciate the time and attention that the committee is giving to the project in all seriousness. So what we have for you tonight is just an overview. The first page in the packet is just a cover sheet kind of showing a general image of the YMCA as you would be approaching from Green Street. The next page is the site plan. The site planning process is moving along very well. We have already been through a Board of Adjustment and conditional use process that was approved. The site plan drawings have been submitted to the city staff for review. The staff has had their review comments, and we're in the process of finalizing that. The site plan will be on the P&Z meeting tomorrow night, and then we'll be back for council on December 16th. So I think everything is moving smoothly in that process. We are also working through land transfer process. Gardner & Associates is helping us with the platting of the land and making sure that the transfer of the land to the city is going along simultaneously with the site plan approval process. On the graphic, really not a whole lot has changed in terms of the overall layout of the site plan since we presented the schematic design. On the lower right is an overall view of the site plan. Still have a main parking lot for the YMCA, a separate designated parking lot for the Early Childhood Center. We've been working on a lot of the site utilities and the stormwater management. There will be some modification to the regional stormwater detention basin, which is up to the north of the site. And that is also another piece of the site planning process that is in progress as far as determining maintenance agreements and how that new enlarged detention basin is going to be handled. On the north side of the site, there will be a public street improvement, and we have limited the extension of that street just to the parking lot entrance on the north side. So in the future, perhaps that could be extended. But that public street improvement will be part of the overall project that we're putting together the bid documents for. So we will have Gardening Associates helping us with the public improvements side of that part of the project. On the south and west side, there is another access drive, and we've limited the paving of that just to make sure we have coverage to the service entrances along the west side. And then the other item that you're seeing on the site plan, and this is a work in progress, we've met with the committee once already, but we are working on the kind of a fun part of the project, which is the playground for the Early Childhood Center. There'll be multiple areas in that playground that are age-specific. And again, this is a work in progress, but I thought I'd give a little snapshot, both a 3D image as well as a floor plan review that's showing the development of the playground area. Next sheet is the floor plans for the project. The building, as it's currently laid out, is approximately 88,400 square feet, which we're again tracking pretty close to where we were at schematic design. There's been some very minor adjustments in areas where we needed some more support space and mechanical space. But all in all, the floor plan, I think, has pretty well been solidified, and the entire group is on board with the amount of space that's provided. We have color-coded the floor plan just in terms of types of usage, from athletic and fitness areas to aquatic areas to the childhood areas. So this may be something that we'll be working with the committee as they go out and start marketing the project a little bit more for some additional fundraising. And then we have a couple of general renderings of the project. This first rendering is approaching from the north side, the northeast side. And so what you're seeing here is basically the north side of the gymnasium. There will be a 24-hour access right where Mike has the highlight there. So that will allow members to gain access to some of the fitness spaces 24 hours if needed. And then you're seeing the east facade of the building, primarily of the YMCA. You can see up on the second floor some nice large windows that will provide good views from the wellness area, as well as a lot of, I think, attractive views into the building. The next image is the main entrance to the YMCA. And again, there will be a very identifiable entrance with a higher roof element. There'll be some nice views into the building. There'll be some two-story space that you'll see in one of the interior renderings. Palette of materials that we're proposing on the exterior elevations is a combination of a brown brick veneer, some limestone veneer in limited areas, and some metal wall panel systems that you're seeing show up in the gray tones. And then the last of the exterior images showing more of the main entrance to the Early Childhood Center. Again, it will have a featured roof element. So the two main entrances will be very, very identifiable as you approach the building. Both will have their own signage, and again, they both have their own parking lot. So we think folks will get the sort of the flow of traffic and coming to and from the building very intuitively. And then we kind of had some fun at our last committee meeting. We brought the 3D model with us and started to kind of fly through the interior and show the committee sort of wherever we wanted to take looks at the inside of the building. This is a work in progress. We've started the interior design. Our interior designer will be meeting with the committee to start doing a more refined selection of finishes and the terrazzo, the carpet, the wood tones, and so forth. But this is just starting to show you the volume of the space as you come in the main entrance to the Y. You're seeing the reception desk. There's a big open to above space, so you'll have a sense of the activity going on upstairs in the wellness and training space. And then right off that main lobby is a community room and a lounge space that will be very visible as well. The next image is an image of the upper level. This would be standing up near the studio or on top of the bridge, so that same open to below space is what you're seeing on the left. The large area to the right will be the main area for all the cardio equipment. And again, that'll have those nice views to the east and good visibility both in and out of the building. And then going down the corridor to the left is where more of the heavy strength and training equipment is in some of the other studio spaces. And then you can kind of see in terms of the roof volume that higher roof element that you see on the exterior carries through about halfway through the building and creates a nice volume over that open to above and open to below space that you're seeing here. And then kind of that orange tone, again, the colors are work in progress, but that's the area where there'll be a secure gate that can come down and really just limit the access to just the cardio equipment space, what we're calling wellness area B. This is an image looking at the two natatorium spaces. So basically, this is looking at the family rec pool. What you're seeing kind of off in the foreground there is the splash pad. We've got some 3D images of that. We're working on trying to get those more realistic to the design, but we have met with the splash pad equipment supplier, and we've gone through a couple of different options in terms of splash pad features and so forth, and I think we've landed on a nice set of various splash features. And then there'll be a large wall between the recreation pool and the competition pool, and that will help for if there's two separate events going on. Oftentimes there's different water temperature in those two rooms, so it will help in terms of maintaining the atmosphere in the two rooms, acoustics between the two spaces. So that large wall will be primarily made out of glass, but we'll have some solid elements. And then what you're seeing beyond is the 6-lane competition pool with some of the spectator seating for competition events. And then last image we have is an interior rendering of the Early Childhood Center. Again, this is an early work in progress. There'll be some furnishings that come into this space, but there'll be a check-in counter right as you come into the space on your left. We're looking at trying to incorporate something fun and in terms of an accent wall as you enter. Again, this is just a first pass at something, but that's an area where we're seeing a feature wall with something more than just paint that could maybe represent something about the community or the characteristic of the building. And then beyond that, there'll be a secure door going to the early childhood wing as well as the preschool wing, and so this will kind of be the security checkpoint as this main entrance lobby. And then the last item we have in the presentation is an update on the cost estimate. At schematic design, we provided a cost estimate just based on historic cost data. We worked with Grow Consulting on some of their historic cost data. For this estimate, we took that large set of more detailed drawings and sent them to a third-party cost estimator, which was Stecker Harmson, and had them do a detailed takeoff of all the quantity of materials and systems for both the architecture and the mechanical electrical systems. And the budget is tracking very close to where we were at schematic design. The total project cost estimate for the construction cost came in at $27,264,446. And then we have a separate overall project summary that also includes some of the owner soft costs. And we've identified those. A lot of those were carryover from our schematic design of some placeholders for owner furnishings and those sorts of things. And so the total project cost summary is sitting at about $31.8 million. Just for reference, at schematic design, we were at approximately $31.5 million. So up just a little bit, but overall, I think we're tracking very well in terms of the cost. There are some notes below that of some things that have been adjusted or fine-tuned since the schematic design estimate. Again, the playground equipment and surfacing is now being designed, and there's a few more dollars in there than were in the original estimate. We are working through commercial kitchen equipment, buying some new equipment. We're salvaging some equipment and purchasing some new equipment. Some sound systems for the gym and the pool. We did have, as part of the discussion, having two storm-enhanced safety areas for the early childhood wing, one in the daycare side and one in the preschool side. So we did double up on storm-safe areas in that part of the building. And then there's a few highlights on some of the owner costs that are included as well. And again, I think the kind of the big work in progress on the owner's side is some of the fixtures and furnishing and athletic equipment. And so as we know more, we'll continue to update the owner cost side of the ledger. But was very pleased to see the estimate come in, very close to where we had projected the schematic design. So with that, I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
When you were going through the site plan earlier, the public road to the north, did you say that is, the cost of that road is included in this estimate? Or
Yes,
that's on?
it is included in the
Okay.
estimate, and it will be included in the bid document.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Vitus, doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, some of the people on the council are part of the committee, and so this isn't really news, you know. But there are other folks who are not on the committee, and so I would look that direction. Is there any thoughts or questions you have?
No.
Okay, this is gonna be a real gem for the city once we get it.
So what's the projection date for shovel in the ground?
This spring, we'll be having the bid documents go out in February, going through the bidding process in March, and we're looking at a April construction start.
Okay, thank you, Vitus.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Drive careful.
Okay. Next item. Item D is,
Mayor, if that item is a resolution.
Oh,
I think
I'm sorry.
it is.
yep. So do we have a motion supporting the resolution for approving the design development documents?
So moved. Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Wally?
Yes.
Barnett?
Yes.
Barnett, sorry.
That's all right, I've been called worse.
Curry?
Yes.
Dross?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Addison?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Thank you. Getting us to item D is a resolution approving the agreement with Fox Engineering Associates. This has to do with Phase 2 of the wastewater facility plan short-term improvements, the amount not to exceed $114,000. On November 17 of 2015, the Iowa Department of Natural Resources issued an amendment to the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, the NPDES permits. The City Council at the meeting on February 16 of 2016 approved the contract with Fox Engineering Associates to perform an evaluation of the existing wastewater treatment plants and to provide a wastewater facility plan to outline improvements and estimated costs needed to meet the DNR permit criteria. The City Council at the meetings on February 20th of 2018 and July 16 of 2018 also approved contracts with Fox Engineering to perform pre-design evaluation and Phase 1 short-term improvements for the wastewater treatment facilities, short-term improvements. The wastewater facility plan proposed by Fox outlined a 10-year plan involving the construction of a new facility at the Southwest Water Treatment Facility site. As part of that plan, several short-term improvements of a serious nature or safety concern are required to satisfy DNR requirements until we get the new facility constructed. Fox completed a detailed engineering evaluation addressing operational and safety needs of both wastewater facilities. The contract, which is Task Order 2070-19B, is for an amount not to exceed $114,000. It includes the design and construction phase services required for Phase 2 of the wastewater facility plan short-term improvements project. The primary tasks involve electrical system upgrades at both treatment facilities, including the influent pump station, sludge pump building, and the northeast wastewater treatment facility, digester, blower, RAS, headworks, and administration buildings, and the influent flow structure at the southwest wastewater treatment plant and at the M Street pump station. So the resolution is printed back in here, and then there's also some detail for the council as well. Do we have a motion supporting the resolution?
Moved.
Second.
Okay. Discussion. Stuff we gotta do. Roll call, please.
Barnett?
Yes.
Bellinger?
Yes.
Dross?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Addison?
Yes.
Wally?
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item E is consider a resolution accepting the bid and approving conveyance of city-owned property located at 1327 9th Avenue East to Mike Zirik for $4,000. In accordance with the council's direction and the city of Oskaloosa policy on disposition of real property, the city received 3 bids for the property located at 1327 9th Avenue East. Minimum bid price was set at $1,000, and the bids were opened on November 18th. Double J Builders, $2,000, Alan Van Wardhuizen, $3,000, and Mike Sarek, $4,000. Double J Builders said they were gonna build a single-family spec home. Alan Van Wardhuizen did not, or excuse me, put in his bid saying he planned to build a single-family home. Mike Sarek is saying that he's gonna build a two-family duplex on slab. We didn't have floor plans on any of these bids. So anyway, I'll open the public hearing at this time. Is there anyone who would care to speak to this? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion, support the resolution, accepting the bid and approving the conveyance of the property to Mike Sarek?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Just a quick question. So it does, so I guess Mike must have told somebody what his intent was, because on the application, there's nothing on here explained,
Okay.
right? Just on the application, it's blank what your intention was, but I'm assuming you have, duplex, so, all right.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, as part of the process, we follow up with Sean's department, Development Services. We'll follow up with the different people who submit bids, let them know the outcome or where they stand, and then, again, if there are any gaps there, they try to pencil those in.
Cool. Sounds like a plan. Okay. Any other questions?
Maybe not question, or maybe it is. So when these people submit for this, for example, submit their bids, and then, but there's no site plan submitted, so how do we know the intentions of them, what they want to do on the property will work?
Yeah, if they're willing to give us some rough direction when they submit their bid, we can give them that feedback if they would like it. In this case, we actually looked at this lot before we went out for bids to determine that it could not only support just a single-family home, but it could support the typical duplex due to the size of the lot. It's about 13,000 square feet.
Okay, that's my, just to make sure that, people are not putting bids in, say, oh, I want to do this, find out later, well, no, you can't do that. So,
And that's always a possibility,
yeah.
as we've seen before, but one of the
That's right.
items later on in this agenda packet is a sale of property, which would be a non-conforming lot. So we, again, looked at it, said, it really couldn't be built on the size that it is, and so we talked to the neighboring properties and asked them if they'd be interested in submitting a bid.
Okay.
We've got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Calgery,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Coniston,
Yes.
Wally,
Yes.
Burnett,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item F. This is a resolution accepting the city of 610 Avenue West to Rhonda Hockey for $4,002. In accordance with the Oskaloosa policy on disposition of real property, there were two bids for this one. Minimum bid was $500. Bids were received on November 4th. In the summary, Rhonda, $4,002, and Eric Graham, who's also, both of these are adjacent property owners, bid $2,000. Both have stated their plan was to use the property for green space, and as Mike mentioned, it does not meet the minimum zoning requirements that allows for redevelopment. And so, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who cares to speak to this? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion supporting the resolution to convey the city-owned property at 610 D Avenue West to Rhonda Hockey?
so moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on this?
I do have a question. So had Eric Graham won this bid, would it be could he make it a parking lot?
With the zoning that's there, I don't know that that's a real possibility.
Just wondering, and if that's something we need to address at a different time for other places where somebody just wants to buy an adjacent lot and turn it into a parking lot, Just don't know if that's allowed or not.
Yeah,
Well, it
many
must be
times.
zone commercial, isn't it, John? That area? Or how'd that building get there? That building's new, fairly new.
Yeah, I don't recall. the
I'm not
zoning
trying to stop you,
offhand.
but it's a good point Steve's making. That they
I
I mean,
need
if
to
there's a
know that.
gap in our
I just
code,
assumed, I would have said, now they know what they have to put down for a surface if they make it a parking lot, but
I mean, we had just
Here or there now.
addressed code with the fascia on buildings facing, the commercial properties where they have to have some stone or some brick or something. I'm just wondering if this fits into the category, we need to address it if I just hate to have somebody turn something into a parking lot that maybe we wouldn't like to be a parking lot. Don't know if there's anything that needs to be done, just asking the question.
We'll check the zoning here and see what that shows.
But just not for here, for anywhere in the city, if that's possible, that somebody can buy a lot next to them and turn it into a parking lot.
Isn't it LI, limited industrial?
Yeah, I think if this would have been the high bid, we would have discussed and reviewed their plans and checked the zoning on that. Discussed it
Yeah.
with them.
So then, in a residential area right now, if it's a hard surface, they can park a vehicle on it, or if they got gravel or something, if I understand it correctly. So if somebody were to buy this space and throw gravel on it, could they park cars on it?
Yeah, I don't think so. This, I think, would have been an expansion of that business use next door,
All right,
which
That
now
is a business.
would not have been
Metal building
allowable
is a business. I
It
think,
is.
yeah.
residential.
all right,
Yeah.
okay.
And does Rhonda plan to remove that trailer?
It's already gone.
It's
Gone.
Oh, it's already gone.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah, picture's old.
good, okay.
it's gone.
So do we know how that is zoned right now? That
We don't,
area?
I don't think they do right now.
It's,
Because I'm looking at that thinking that shading probably means something.
Well, in my zoning days, I think there was,
So if
there
you
was
click on
industrial,
on
limited
the zoning
industrial, I
layer,
thought.
make that active in the left,
I could
then
be
you can
wrong,
click on the,
but it's not, I'm sure it's
on the
not
parcel.
residential.
and that will pull up the zoning.
LI,
Limited
limited
industrial.
industrial.
So it's
Yeah,
industrial
LI,
zoning.
that's what I thought, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that lot doesn't fall in residential. Yeah.
Other comments or questions?
Yep, right there.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ross,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Addison,
Yes.
Wally,
Yes.
Burnett,
Yes,
Calgery,
Yes,
Okay, that passes. Item G, this is a resolution accepting the bid and approving conveyance of city-owned property located at 703 A Avenue East to Michael Romas. In accordance with our policy on disposition of real property, we took bids for that property at 703 A Avenue East. Michael submitted a bid of $500, which included a security deposit of $200. It doesn't meet the minimum zoning requirements for redevelopment, and he's planning to use it as green space. I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who cares to speak to this? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion supporting approving the conveyance of the city-owned property located at 703 A Avenue East to Michael Romas for $500?
so move.
second.
Okay. Any discussion on that?
There's that parking question again. He says extend my yard or parking, so. Is that gonna be a problem?
Yeah, I think in this case, it's a residential district, so the parking would need to follow our standards, depending on what their proposal is. They would need permits. If they're looking to add a second driveway,
All right.
could be an issue.
We'll have an opportunity to.
But we're
review.
passing it as a green space, right? He wrote parking, but
People get creative, folks.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
if they
that's what
wanna
it's-
do something. they'll
Again,
have to
this
get
is a
permits.
conveyance of the property to the neighbor, not necessarily with any specific stipulations.
Obviously, whatever they do will be subject to our standards, so this does not grant them any special permission.
Right.
Thank you.
Other comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Moore,
Yes.
Addison. Yes. Wally,
yes.
Burnett,
Yes.
Calgery,
Yes,
Ross,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item H. What we've all been waiting for, and what I announced at the last meeting, is to consider a resolution authorizing execution of a lease agreement for a postage meter system. The city's lease of $55.88 a month on a postage meter system has expired. Pitney Bowes won't service the equipment and is recommending a Centpro C200 for $49.19 a month for 60 months. So I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there anyone who cares to speak to this? I didn't think so. Closing the public hearing, do we have a motion supporting the new lease?
So moved.
second,
Okay, any discussion?
yeah, do we lease our?
Why
do we-
is this on the agenda?
What, do we lease our
Government.
printers and copiers downstairs?
No.
Or those are, we own those?
We own the copiers and printers. We're going through an evaluation now to look at that. Of course, the sales pitch is that if it'll be more efficient, more effective for us, but we tend to keep our equipment much longer than what they turn us over for a lease, so we're going through the evaluation
I was
process.
just wondering.
But the postage machine is leased, and if it makes you feel any better, the city of Dubuque does the same thing. They go through, although they group it together in a larger package of items, but
Why isn't this in the consent agenda?
has to have a public hearing by state code.
Is that
For
because it's
postage
a
meter
lease?
or what?
No, because of a lease purchase. Again,
It's-
this
it's
counts as
because it's a
debt
lease.
as well, so that's,
$3,600, is that what I'm reading? So, yeah.
But
No,
it's a-
six
but
times
it's a
six.
if you know a
savings.
legislator who wants to make that change, I'd be supportive of that.
So we have a public hearing, then do we have to, is this the only time we see this though, or does it come back to?
No, it's done. So
Public
you
hearing is
set the,
done.
you set the hearing, you hold the hearing.
Gotcha, all right.
I thought it was
Yeah,
different.
when the agreement's
I'll
up.
be gone by then, so I'm done, so. yeah.
Say, Mike,
All right.
one more question. Is this a rental or is it a lease purchase?
It's a rental,
Okay,
right? You're not purchasing.
We are not purchasing.
okay, thank you.
Even if you purchase one, you still have a monthly fee with them, so you've got
Right.
to go through this.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
more expensive to purchase.
Yeah. No, thank you.
All right. I'm gonna look that up.
All right, any further comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Addison?
Yes.
Walling?
Yes.
Burnett?
Yes, ma'am.
Jerry?
Sure.
Haas?
Yes.
Moore? Yes.
Can tell the decorum is getting a little more ragged. Good thing we're at the end of the agenda. Comments from city staff, city manager, anything?
No, Mayor.
Okay, city clerk?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay, city attorney, anything?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay, city council members, let's start with you, Bob,
No, sir.
Joe,
Nothing.
Diane,
No, thank you.
Scotty, Tom?
I'd just like to say one more time that we really appreciate the city employees, long-term people, because it makes it run much better. Thank you.
Okay. Steve?
I see Linda sitting in the audience back here. I think the folks, her and the team, some folks on our council that worked on this project and have been working on it for a number of years. I know a number of people in the community just kind of think maybe it got forgotten, or something, and now it's here to actually happen. Is the persistence and the time that they've spent to do this is, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you, because this is going to be a tremendous thing for our community, so thank you a bunch. It's really good to see the folks work on it and stay with it for as long as they have. So, it hasn't been easy, as we know, from the one since, the passing of that, and so just to make it happen, kudos to the whole team, because that's really kind of neat. So,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Obviously, I totally agree, but since you brought it up,
Yeah, go ahead.
the extra funding
Yeah.
is the
Still
challenge.
happening, yeah.
Because the county backed out.
Right, no, I agree, yeah, so get your checkbook out.
Yep.
Yep, because this is the opportunity to make it good or make it great. And so we, as we did with the library, you can decide whether or not you're gonna do something good enough or whether you're gonna do something you'll be proud of for decades to come.
I mean, we continue to try and get people to move to our community, to take jobs in our community, to trust us, to have a community they'd be proud of. And this kind of thing will help people make the decision, or make that decision much easier for people to decide to move to our community. Whether it's because they're coming to Mahaska Health Partnership, or they're coming to Clow, or they're coming to Musco, or they're coming to work in city government, whatever, or school, all the teachers that come to our community, this will help.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. So, well, that took away most of what I was gonna say.
Well, sorry.
However, I did want to remind folks that we do have a Christmas parade coming up on Saturday at 7 o'clock. There are numerous churches and other outfits that are going to be working to make it a pleasurable experience. So if you want some hot food beforehand, feel like singing, or a variety of other types of activities, please come early and stick around. This one's going to be worth seeing.
Any promises for good weather?
Last I saw, the prediction was
supposed to be good.
47 degrees
Yeah.
in the daytime. And so,
Much better than last weekend.
you bet. You bring the kids, bring your grandparents, do whatever you do. But this will be a good one to get crowded together, I think. So with that, do we have a motion to adjourn? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.